Yo.
Yes, sir. What's up, guys?
Yes. This DJ will kick the floor in 3, 2, 1.
On the troll.
Hello and welcome to Mzansi. We're back again with your stories, guys. As usual, it has been a hectic week. I'm sure you can see. For those who are left behind, do catch up with some of the videos that we have released. It is good for you so that you are not left behind. So now what we are going to do is to deal with the issue of Nandipha, and then we are going to go further and deal with what to expect as the day starts. We know that Senzo's case is back in court.
Yeah. What
are we expecting and what ought to happen? So stay with us. I know some of you have been dealing with Nandipha for a very long time. Yes, we are back with Senzo's stories now. Emily, greet our people. While you do that, let me remind them, please subscribe, share the videos, like, and comment as usual.
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Welcome back to Mzansi Reality YouTube channel. Hope you're having a great day wherever you are. Now we need to quickly update you because it's been a while since we did these updates, honey. We've been busy doing a lot of research, right?
Yes.
And coming up with this content requires a lot of time. So now we're back to updating you guys about what is happening, especially with regard to two major cases that we're covering here on the channel. And now we got a chance to cover Dr. Nandipha's court appearance that happened last week Friday for the appeal that she made with the Bloemfontein High Court in order to declare her deportation from Tanzania unlawful. But now let us unpack as we wait for the judgment that will be given on Tuesday, the 18th of July.
Yes.
The issue of consent was a matter of contention on Friday morning in the Free State High Court in Bloemfontein, where Dr. Nandipha Magudumana's application for leave to appeal was heard. Now, last month, the same court dismissed Magudumana's appeal for her arrest and detention to be declared unlawful and wrongful.
Yes.
Although Judge Philip Lobser said it was evident that the process used to bring Magudumana back to the country was an extradition without due process and not a deportation. She was well aware of the charges that she would face when she arrived back in South Africa from Tanzania. So Lobser said Magudumana had consented to her removal because she wanted to be with her children. Remember, they were saying that that is what she was telling the officials that were there fetching her, that she wanted to come home to her kids. So during arguments, Magudumana's lawyer, you know she had a new lawyer, right?
Yes.
It was a different lawyer than the one we saw the last time. It wasn't Anton Katz this time around. It was Advocate Kessler Peru Malsami.
All right.
Hopefully I pronounced it well. Peru Malsami said there were grounds for her case to be heard by the Supreme Court of Appeal. Peru Malsami maintained that one could never consent to illegality, adding that it required someone to say, "I'm okay with unconstitutional conduct." Now, he raised his argument on Friday. I was like, yeah, this is a very boring case, but you are raising your arguments, good sir. He said that if Magudumana had consented to her return to the country, it should have been in writing. He asked, was she informed of the treaty, the extradition treaty between South Africa and Tanzania? What was she consenting to? Disguised extradition? Was it after Home Affairs exercised its powers unlawfully? When was consent made? And to whomever? Is it in writing? Magudumana was arrested in Tanzania in April, right?
Yes.
With Thabo Beste. And she has 2 daughters from her previous marriage. Arguing on behalf of the police, the National Prosecuting Authority Advocate Niels Snilberg SC spoke holes in Magudumana's defense. He pointed out that she had initially alleged to have been abducted and blindfolded, but had now changed her tune to say she had never consented to her removal from Tanzania, which is a valid point.
Yes.
Whatever happened to the blindfolding handcuff that was taken by the police? Why is that not being argued in the appeal? So this is an argument that Magudumana wants to profit from. They're looking for compelling reasons because they don't have prospects of success in the SCA. Now, the SCA is the Supreme Constitutional Court.
Yes.
Yes, Supreme Court of Appeal. My apologies, Supreme Court of Appeal. Now, he said there's no way Magudumana will convince any court that she abandoned some right to be stuck in Tanzania. So according to the police, she told everyone willing to listen that she wanted to go home. Should they have left her in Tanzania when she wanted to come home? That is the question. Should they have left her there? I say they should have. Be detained by Tanzania and then do a proper extradition. That's my opinion, but it doesn't matter. But should they have left her there? That is the question. Is that what she wanted? Well, Senelbeck said Magudumana's leave to appeal should be dismissed. And advocate Louis Paul SC for the Department of Home Affairs said they would abide by whatever the court ordered. And judgment has been reserved and it will be delivered on the 18th of July. Now, if Dr. Nandipha gets her way and she's granted leave to appeal, this could mean that her case can now be taken to the Supreme Court of Appeal. And law expert Elton Hart spoke to ENCA and said that if her SCA, Supreme Court of Appeal, succeeds, then there would be a part B to this application that would look at the actual law and come to a decision as to whether the consent given or alleged consent given was sufficient in terms of extradition law and international law standards.
Yes.
So if the court finds that this was not enough, it would mean that she would be removed as an accused person in the Bester case. But it will not stop the hearing of the other 11, including Thabo Bester, in the interim.
Yes.
It will have a bearing, but at a later stage. She can be added again as an accused person if they follow correct procedures to arrest her and bring her before court for cases that she is alleged to have been involved in as an accused person.
Yes.
So this literally means that they will have to release her. She walks out, and after she walks out, they're like, "Bam, you are getting arrested. Your warrant of arrest, rearrested."
Exactly. We touched on it at some point. It didn't make sense, but indeed, it is how it should be done. To squash this part of unlawful arrest, which, if you read more when it comes to law, it does then hinges on the issue or on the severity of that of the crimes that are committed. In a situation where crimes perhaps I would say supersede your unlawful arrest, then you can still be arrested in a case in that case. To say that, okay, we understand that you were arrested in a wrongful way, but your crimes, which are not even stemming from you being arrested, right or wrong, then there's more damage that they have done. Then in that case, perhaps your rights might be trampled upon a bit in a sense that your argument has as basis, yes, you were arrested in a wrong way, in a wrongful manner, but your crimes are so huge such that we cannot risk letting you go. That could be the argument that could have been used to say that, okay, let us for argument's sake say that you were arrested in the wrong way, but the crimes that you are called for, which in this case, there are many scenarios that you can look at. no one is saying that you are guilty as yet. You are being held while we do investigation. So in that case, we do not need to disturb our investigation just so that you can be out. We can just continue the investigation until then you are found guilty. Yes. But in this case, you haven't been found guilty.
She hasn't been. You're trying to run away. What are you trying to run away from?
Exactly.
There's still investigations happening.
And if you think that you are not guilty, then you don't have much to worry about, other than the time that you could be compensated for if you are not found guilty.
How is this going to work exactly? As you get released, you walk out of the facility, and then bam, the police are like, we arrest you again. How is this going to work? That's how it's going to work. Because then, unless if you say your argument is that such that as they abducted you, as you claim, maybe, they take you back to where you were abducted. That can't happen.
Because there is a bit of that element that can still come to say, okay, if you admit that you did wrong by arresting me and bringing me to South Africa, then take me back to where you took me from.
But Tanzania has already declared them as unprohibited.
As prohibited people.
Yes.
Then perhaps you have to put these people in the border then.
What border? South African border.
Maybe outside the border of Tanzania.
Which will be in another country. Oh, they were caught in Tanzania. They'll have to release her and then rearrest her. Tanzania kicked you out. Tanzania says, no, we don't want you back.
Yeah, that's what we are faced with here.
Asazi, Dr. Nandipha, what your plan is, but... And also note, guys, that if Dr. Nandipha is successful in getting her arrest and extradition to South Africa scrapped, it could see her removed from the list of suspects in the ongoing case against Abobesi. So literally,
now this is the logic where I do not understand
this
why.
Means they'll have to rearrest her.
That's why. But obviously, if you are being removed, then that means there are no cases against you.
But it means build up a case again, refresh.
How long is it going to take to do that?
No, it's not going to take long. For you just have to issue a warrant of arrest. Like, the investigation is still ongoing.
Yes.
Recharge her with the crimes that she's being accused of.
Because you look here, I mean, if the arrest is determined to be unconstitutional, it may lead to legal consequences for the law enforcement officer involved in the arrest, and the arrested individual may have grounds to challenge the arrest in court. In many jurisdictions, evidence obtained as a result of an unconstitutional arrest may be deemed inadmissible. So other than the fact that she was arrested in this case, there's nothing that is linking the case itself to this. You are right in that you can then rearrest the person because there's nothing that based on that arrest, it's not like you were caught with something red-handed where then the case is stemming from that. Yes. So in this case, evidence is independent of what happened when you were incarcerated.
Still ongoing. So it means if they discover new stuff that she did that we are not aware of yet, they can still add them to the charge sheet.
Yes.
So it becomes a different case. Then rearrest her.
Yeah, no, I get you.
Plus, I have bought nama court cases. Exactly.
I'm
sorry, guys. It's a drag watching that. It was too much for me. Okay. So now moving on to the Senzo Meyiwa trial. The trial of the 5 men accused of ending the former Bafana captain Senzo Meyiwa is set to resume today. The Gauteng High Court in Pretoria. That will be the 17th of July. So remember, guys, that the trial was postponed after the presiding judge, Chipiwa Maumela, who has since been suspended by President Cyril Ramaphosa for delaying judgments on cases, fell ill. So his illness is the reason why he may not be returning, not his pace of giving judgments on cases. In fact, the JSC had recommended that he continue with the cases that he still had at his desk that are pending.
Yes.
And give judgments on them, and that included the Senzo Meyiwa trial. But then again, there was now illness, an issue of illness that popped up, right? Mm-hmm. So meanwhile, President Cyril Ramaphosa also has issued letters of suspension to Judge Shipiwa Maumela and Judge Nomonde Mgqibisa Tusi on Tuesday the 28th of June for failing to deliver judgments timelessly. So the JSC, Judicial Service Commission, is in the process of appointing a tribunal for each one of the judges. So it means they have to go to some kind of a hearing for judges. They call it a tribunal. So Gauteng Deputy Judge President Obrile Dwaba said Maumela will not be available for a long time due to health reasons, but the matter needs to be to proceed.
Now, the question that you might have in your head, which I also have, then what now? Now the case, as it starts today, then we are probably to see more a bit of additional postponement there. That's my thinking, because if Justice Zondo came out to say that this man's still in charge of this, regardless of the circumstances, as the mandate was that the man finishes the judgments and what he was sitting on and is ongoing. So we are in a situation where the case might be postponed.
Yeah.
We are in a situation where the case, because I'm thinking, what is the other way that we might do this thing? There are other ways that I think might be fruitful in this case. Maybe the Dwaba sits temporarily. Obviously, there's video recording of this case while it proceeds. And then Judge Afro then will come and watch that. And maybe we'll watch that as it proceeds. Perhaps note certain things if he's not that critically ill at the time. And then come back and continue as usual. That's the only way I'm thinking that. I'm not sure if that is legally advisable, but my thinking is that there is a judge that is currently seeking available for postponement and whatnot, and that is Letwaba. So why don't we then continue with the case the way it is? And then one might argue to say that, but Letwaba also might not be well informed from the beginning of the case to this point, which might hinder a lot of processes. Or, for example, that Judge Afro had to do away with TIFO at the proceedings as a watch and brief. Then TIFO might come and say, but you are not Mr. Afro yourself.
Those are some of the issues to consider. And now we need to know if any of the previous witnesses will be called back as well. I mean, there's another legal expert, Umpumelelo Zigalala, who actually said that witnesses who have previously testified in the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial are likely to be called back. Now, if the trial is de novo, meaning that it might start afresh, this means that Sergeant Thabo Mosia and Patrick Mtetwa may need to come back and testify. This will also include Tumelo Madlala, Thokosi Zitwala, as well as witness number 5, Zandi Lorraine Okumalo. The trial is expected to start afresh, but remember that the Office of the Chief Justice has not confirmed whether Judge Rata Mokgwatleng has been appointed to preside over the matter, or they're going to force Judge Shipiwa Maumela out of his illness to come back and preside, or take Mr. Anonymous' suggestion of saying perhaps Judge President Ledwaba might be in the interim.
Yes.
And then Judge Maumela,
for the interest of the case,
better, he can come back and then make. I don't like the sound of that.
Nobody likes it. What can we do if there's a contradiction from the people that are sitting there, who are supposed to be giving guidance, but we're still sitting in the dark? What can we do?
Kore, I don't see it working out, effectively.
Because if there was a decisive way of taking decisions, this could have been, that person could have been furnished with the transcripts and whatnot already, which is now, that's why I'm foreseeing a postponement because of that. They're going to be
ask for the transcripts all the way from when the case started.
And they will need to familiarize themselves.
They'll need to go
with
through
that.
them.
Yes.
Remember, we needed 2 months for Advocate Mshololo to go over case 375.
375, yes.
2 months of a delay happened there. And now, for 2 years worth of transcripts, how long will the delay be?
It will be more.
Just so the judge can go through it. I do agree with proposing a judge who is retired. Because they don't have any other cases that
they are looking after, yes.
Be focusing on this case.
Yes.
That I'm here for it.
Yes.
But I'm kind of worried of how long it's going to take for them to go through the transcripts themselves before they start afresh. Or they just need to start afresh and hop in and disregard everything that has happened in the past.
Perhaps if there was de novo, then we probably have a good starting point. Why I'm saying that is because many people were anticipating to see first Zandi and Kelly and then everyone else. It would be very nice because Zandi is already on the stand.
Yes.
Then probably they would say
Zandi
they stand with
afresh.
Zandi because
The case is starting from scratch.
Zandi is already
Zandi
here and
on
was
the
already
stand.
yes.
And then the judge does not need to look at everything else that has happened before. It's a fresh case.
Let us cut it off.
Yes. Okay.
Which will work in an advantage of lawyers that were not there. And on top of that, it will work on an advantage of lawyers of answers that have been given previously. That will be very interesting because now how do you change your answers from what you have given before? Then you'd need, if really you were prepped to answer a certain way, you'd need to go through the transcript yourself and not forget it, memorize it to the point, to the T.
And also, I felt even at the beginning that Bomusia and Mtetwa are not really supposed to be at the beginning. They should be testifying more towards the end.
Yes.
To give clarity on the crime scene.
Yes, on how the crime scene was handled.
After everyone has given their testimonies.
And then you kind of expect the ballistic experts and all that to be combined with the same group.
Exactly.
Which then would make a case more organized.
Yes, I would love to see them more like the Oscar Pistorius case. We're able to see the ballistic experts and the people that are experts in the SAPS towards the end testifying.
Start with people who were there, witnesses and the neighbors and whatnot. Finish with those people.
So how the state has been picking witnesses has just been
it sort of gives that idea of maybe we will forget what they said,
and we won't. I'm sure we've already.
And obviously, I'm not saying that is the case. I'm sure this is my assumption. This is my presumption.
Fagu allegedly, because it doesn't mean that we have forgotten. We will still compare. We are the court of public opinion. We don't work with the court of law. Okay, we are laymen. We will.
And it's well documented of what they've said. In fact, it is well documented what they've said.
We will. If we feel like, hi man, we will bring it up. It's unfortunately what we have to do as the court of public opinion. So you guys, that's it from us. I think it's a wrap.
Tell us what you think, and while you do that, subscribe and like the video, and we shall see you then after the the proceedings, if there is going to be any other than postponement and new dates and whatnot.
Yeah, and please let us know if you'd like for us to go live, because we don't want to set up a live stream and you all
I
don't
would
show
not
up.
like to set that precedent. Why? Because we
it
have
might
load
be-
shedding.
Oh, we have load shedding.
So we never know when.
We never know when. Sorry, guys, we can't guarantee anything over here.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a struggle.
It is a struggle.
Okay, guys, see you on the next one. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you expect. And we'll see each other on the next one.
So bye.